Welcome to the Nagual Zone, and I'm here. Today I have a very interesting question for you guys, asked by Sony Pony. Do you think the Toltec path is different for women as to men? I promised her an answer to this, that I'd make a video on it. And so this is the video. Very, very important question. Is the Toltec system different for men and different for women? In a nutshell, absolutely. No doubt about it. In fact, if I hear or see someone, people relate to me that they're of different sexes and they were taught the same way, I get very, very skeptical of that training. And I'll explain to you why it must necessarily be different for men and women. The Toltec system the Toltec way is already a very individualistic system, a very bespoke way of imparting knowledge. There's no one size fits all. It's not that. So just get that out of your head. It doesn't exist. There is no one size fits all. Now, the interesting thing is, what does that say about Castaneda's books then? Because if the Toltec system is extremely bespoke and individualistic, then his training and the concepts that were explained to him so that they would make sense to him and the way he was trained may not be good for you or applicable to you or apt for you. So think of it like this. The Toltec system is extremely fluid, elusive, very, it's like water. The authentic teaching should be able to take the shape of anything that it needs to fit into. So it is extremely individualistic for each human being. It is extremely individualistic for either sex, men, male and female. It is then extremely individualistic for each man and woman. It is then extremely individualistic for each personality within those men and women. You get it? So it is a real mistake to think that reading Castaneda's books and copying, the way he was taught or trying to understand things in the way that he was understanding them, it's a great mistake. I know it bursts bubbles, and of course we can take away from anything. All knowledge is self-knowledge, right? So we can't take away from things, that's not a problem. But in applied training, you can't copy Castaneda's work because it's not going to work. It's not going to work. Your needs, your demands, your particular aberrations, your insanities, the content is different within you. Is the Toltec training different for men and women? Absolutely. Now let me explain another concept to you. This is how I see it. This is how I work with my apprentices. There are two kinds of movement. There are two kinds of movement in the world of you could call it martial arts or self-defense, which is what I specialized in. It is understood as circular movement and linear movement. Linear movement is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 2 cannot come before 1, 3 cannot come before 2. It is one, it's linear. It's kind of like how we experience time in our life. It's yesterday, then it's today, and then it'll be tomorrow. Tomorrow cannot become yesterday before it becomes yesterday. Do you see what I mean? So everything must be very linear. So that is linear movement. The punch must travel in a straight line and go. Okay, I mean, if you're not into martial arts or self-defense, then it may not make sense. But hopefully, the physics of movement may make a little bit of be understandable. Linear movement can also have angles, okay, right angles, 45 degrees. That's linear movement. It can change direction that way and that way. But the time that it took for the movement to go from point A to point B, it is always in a straight line. Clear so far? And I'll tell you how this applies to men and women. Now, circular movement is what Tai Chi, Aikido, especially Aikido, a lot of Jiu-Jitsu as well, especially BJJ, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Sistema, especially as well. A lot of these things work with Bagua. It's another 5 elements form, Chinese. These are all kind of, if you're not into this, then just roll with it. So working with circular movement. Now, the way the mold of man establishes a human male, a human female, or indeed any male or any female life form, is that the males predominantly are stewards of the linear force, the linear movement force. Okay? Predominantly. Now, don't go all liberal on me and say, oh, but women can also do that, men can also. Fuck that. Okay, so just stay with the idea. Women predominantly are experts in naturally move in circular movement. They are keepers of the circular force. What does that mean? Now, one of the characteristics of the circular force, especially as harbored within women, is that it moves in all directions at once in an ever-expanding circle. And it contracts in all directions at once in an ever-contracting circle. So it's like a jellyfish. The whole thing moves as one. Yeah? Male force, the yang force, if you want to call it that, moves linearly. It's a common stereotype, right? That men can, think like they can't quite sort of think in layers. They have to just go this and then that and then that and then they're happy. It's a very simple life for men. For women, they are able to be aware of many layers at once. Especially now, here's the thing with human beings. Here's a little nugget. This will really, if you understand this and learn to apply this, what I'm going to tell you, your knowledge of the Toltec system will increase tenfold, which is that energy as employed by us humans works in the realm of feelings and emotions, not so much in the realm of thinking. If you can get this, just this, and learn to apply it, your proficiency in the Toltec system will shoot up. It's your emotions and feelings, and how that is exactly why you cannot learn to do any form of stalking before you have arrived at the place of no pity within yourself. Can't happen. You'll just get trapped in your own stalking, which is hilarious. It's like a superhero tripping on his own cape and falling down when he was about to punch someone. It's hilarious, right? It's the same thing. So, and you cannot arrive at the place of no pity without losing your human form. You cannot. We come back to the Toltec progression in your training. Okay, I've done 3 videos, a 3-part series, I believe, on the Toltec progression, if I'm not mistaken, last year. I'll put the link up there. Check them out. So if I am going to teach women in terms of angles, I'm trying to, it's fine. Anything can be learned. That's not a problem. But it's unnecessarily inefficient. If I'm going to teach a man in terms of emotional 360-degree movement, which already women are born with that ability, then again it is a waste of time because they'll struggle unnecessarily with it. Why not talk the language of the Greeks to Greeks, and why not talk Russian to the Russians? That's what would make sense, right? But here's the thing. I haven't met a lot of benefactors or teachers or experts, Toltec practitioners, who actually understand the male and female force and its movement within themselves. You see, within themselves. They haven't really done that deep work, the deep work. Very few of us who are authentically trained, an impeccable benefactor will make sure that you are thoroughly not only in touch with both sides of your being, the yang and the yin, but also you have arrived at a place within you where you are a holder of the yin yang. Yin yang is actually one principle. In the East, it is understood that you can't separate the two. It's yin yang. You can't have the North Pole and the South Pole. A North Pole by itself cannot exist, and the South Pole by itself cannot exist. Both need, they are polarities of the same thing. You understand? So a true benefactor or benefactors will make sure that their apprentices eventually, after much travails and inner digging and inner observation, arrive at a place within themselves where they are able to hold the yin-yang easily, efficiently, and make it look easy, make it look nice, make it look graceful. They don't struggle. They don't struggle to understand why are women such mysterious creatures, and there's no it's not a mysterious creature. You got to understand the yin yang principle within yourself, the circular force within yourself, and then it is very easy to bridge the gap. It is easy to understand, that's why she's feeling the way she's feeling. That's why she's saying it in this particular way. That is why she is seeing this world in this particular way. You understand? Same with the man force, the male, the linear force. Once you understand that within yourself, you are in touch with it, you are a keeper of that force within you, and you know it in detail, you can easily bridge the gap. You can understand, that's why they're saying it in this way. So it is imperative that a man apprentice and a woman apprentice be taught in very, very different ways. It is just, that's the way to do it. Here's another thing to consider. This is something that is very lost on the men. I think gay males can understand this, but heterosexual males, you just can't understand it because that is not available to you, which is that women in this world for the last thousands of years, the circular force has been suppressed, has been vilified, has been in every way, shape, or manner has been degraded, debased to nightmarish, proportions. Unbelievable. Simply unbelievable. Even women don't realize. We all suffer from this virus called I don't know and I don't want to know because it's too scary, right? Even a lot of women don't really understand, the depth and weight of what their history is. Think about it like this. This may maybe put a crack in it. Wouldn't it be interesting to enter a dimension where history was written by women? Wouldn't it be interesting to enter a dimension and experience history written by the black people? So you see, there's a lot more going on than our little pet ideas of Carlos Castaneda and his books. So let's expand our horizons and start to understand how these forces work within us. Because if we don't, we will forever struggle with bridging gaps. We will forever struggle with certain things within ourselves and certain things within the opposite sex. Forever struggle with that. There's no communication. We can't, there's no highway going, there's no roads there. Yeah. So understand this. The circular force in women is an amazing force. It's the most powerful force that exists. In the Eastern traditions, in Bharat, we call it Shakti. Shakti is manifestly female. Now, here's the thing. The Toltec system that I was trained in and the lineage that the crow, Don Juan, is from, it is widely accepted and you can see it easily. See it easily, seeing as in the seeing, Toltec word seeing, that the eagle or the emanations of the eagle, if you want to put it that way, or the donkey or the snake or whatever the hell is good for you, the existence at large is a female force. It's a 360-degree circular force with linearity built into it. Now, here's the thing, the travesty that happened many thousands of years ago. It's called the patriarchy. Basically, what the patriarchy did was flip that around. They created a model of existence which supposes that it is a linear existence with the occasional 360-degree circular force built into the linear. So you have Adam and woman came out of his ribs. And I mean, it is truly a testament to people's sheer stupidity. And I always use the word stupidity in its dictionary setting. In the dictionary, it says stupid means lacking intelligence, lacking the ability to think intelligently, makes someone stupid. It is the sheer evidence of the stupidity of the average man that you could even believe for a second some narrative like that. Adam and snake, poor snakes in the world. They have been poor snakes. It should have been a mosquito. People, at least the hate would have been well placed. Like poor snakes. A snake came an apple and eating apples, and then Adam's ribs came out and became women. What the hell? Like, you see what I mean? I want you to understand. So this is what happened. This travesty. So the patriarchy flipped this around. It's actually the circular force, and the linear force is built into the circular force, and it's not the other way around. Okay, so it is very, very important to really make that distinction, understand what that distinction entails in functional, practical living, in communication with the opposite sex. How are they saying? What are they saying? Why, not just poo-pooing because it's women, or I don't understand why you can be so emotional. It's not like that. There's a lot of other things going on, a lot of pressures going on in a typical woman's life that a lot of women are not even aware of it. Understanding this is very important. It's vital. But just watching this video may spark off a few realizations which are kind of worthless. But mulch over this and start to engage your noticing power in the world around you with the aim of understanding and applying the knowledge of the linear force and the circular force. What is it? How are they manifesting around me? How are they manifesting within me? And how can I hold these two forces with tranquility and mastery within me. I hope this answers your question, Sony Pony. Excellent question. I enjoyed it. It's something that I find myself talking about a lot, the importance in this day and age. It's all just, there is a concerted effort to homogenize everything. This started, especially in the 80s, it started homogenizing the sexes, not letting them be themselves, but funneling the human psyche. Because, a clear male and a clear female, now that's two energies for me to control and manipulate. But if I can get them to be confused, merge them up, I have some kind of weird asexual being, utterly devoid of personal power now. Okay? That's easy for me to manipulate and control. And also less work for me because it's just one energy I'm dealing with now instead of two. You see what I mean? So consider these things. I don't give a shit about political correctness. Neither should you. And if any of this offends you, well, piss off. This channel is not for you. There are many, many other things that could be talked about. Let me know in the comments what you think about this. And if you have any questions that you feel would make for a good video which would benefit everyone, then let me know. Ask me those questions. I'd be happy to come up with a video on it. Maybe if you want me to do a video on this this coronavirus. Who the hell names these things? Coronavirus. Let me know. I might touch on it. It should ideally be of no consequence to a Toltec at all, except in terms of, if you're going around washing your hands and hand gel and buying toilet paper off the shelves and all that, then believe me, this channel is not for you. Just move on, because you're in La La Land. You are not. You're just you're just operating on a different frequency. This channel is not for you. It'll only serve to offend you. But if you're curious, what is the Toltec take on the average man's insanity and confusions? Well, then let me know and I'll be happy to talk about it a little bit. On that note, walk in freedom, stay connected. I love you all. See you soon.